Hi, Neil. How are you?
Hi, David. Very well. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely well. And so today I have invited Neil to talk all things about London Southbank University, all things London. And so why don't we get started by you telling us about the university, the latest updates, and the key programs for international students at the moment, and also what makes London so special for our international students.
I'm sure you know, I mean, I imagine lots of you listening and watching this have been to London. So as a study destination, it's unrivaled. I think it was still the number one destination as a student city on the QS rankings for a number of years. So it's vibrant, there's lots of opportunities, and it's a great city to live in. I'm not originally from London, but I've lived here 20 years more now. London South Bank University is on the south bank of the river. That's hence the name. So the river divides the north and the south of London, but we're in zone one, we're in central London, which I'm sure you've been to London, David, is quite important if you're choosing a study destination. It's important for numerous reasons, but for us, one of our key selling points, I believe, is we're a campus. I mean, a true campus. Within 3 streets, there's 15,000 students, and it's all owned by the university, including the accommodation, which means, I mean, this is undergraduate and postgraduate. You can live in the accommodation, and within 2 minutes, you're in class. So we are about 15 minutes walking to the river, which is where the London Eye is and the Houses of Parliament. We're dead central. And I think that gives you a different feel than, and I'm not criticising other universities, but universities such as Greenwich, Herefordshire, Middlesex, who are on the periphery of London, but may take you half an hour to actually be in the centre, where from us, in 30 minutes, you can walk it. So I think it's a different type of experience than living in Kingston or Brunel or one of those other ones. One of the questions I do get asked by students, not just Latin American, but throughout the world, they say, but in central London, don't you lose that sense of community because it's a big city? I say, well, yeah, if you're studying at universities whose campus is displaced, so, your residency's maybe 4 or 5 stops on the tube, and you might be in one place for one lecture, another for another lecture. Yeah, there's probably not that great sense of community, but because we're all together. So the students I see that choose to live on the university have much better community feel and make more friends than those that live off campus. So this year I've had go from Peru, go from Mexico, undergraduate students, and they're staying on campus. And I recruited them as student ambassadors because I really wanted to hear their voice for other Latin American students. And what's been great is now, I mean, the Latin community is still quite small compared to, say, Asian community, but they've made friends from Pakistan, from Europe, from Ukraine, from all over the world. So we do have that sense of community because we are a true campus university. So that's quite unique, I think.
And I think, Neil, that also facilitates the process of students finding their jobs, either part-time while they're study, after work, internship opportunities, all of these universe of employment potential that they have. I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, it is safe to say that this is all centrally located within that part of London, isn't it?
Absolutely correct. And let's not shy away from the fact that most students, be them British, be them Bangladeshi, or be them Brazilian, need a part-time job.
Yeah.
So the university doesn't acknowledges that. So we help students get part-time jobs. And a lot of students, again, regardless of their origin, are a bit nervous because maybe my English is not up to standard. And a lot of the jobs, as you know, part-time jobs are customer facing, being restaurants, bars, cafes. So there's a little bit of reticence sometimes on our students is, can I confidently converse with British people? So we help our students perfect their CVs, go for an interview. But what I found, and I'm from the Northwest, and certain agents say, or students say, should I live in Huddersfield or Liverpool because it's cheaper? One thing, yes, it might be cheaper, although I can dispute that. The opportunities in London are much higher because there are many more jobs available. So I said I got an undergraduate student from Peru, an undergraduate student from Mexico. I've employed them as student ambassadors, and we actually pay student ambassadors £15 an hour. And because of the shortage of labour in London at the moment, our students are earning 16, 17, 18 pounds an hour, which you won't get in Liverpool. And I know we're here to study, but you have to be able to be comfortable and have money in your pockets to succeed in your studies. So actually, London is a really good choice. And of course, if you're in central London, job opportunities are higher. And actually, one thing that is expensive, I mean, you've been to London, David, travel. If you're traveling on the tube from zone 5 to zone 1, it's expensive. But if you're in zone 1 and you're walking 20 minutes to your place of work after you've studied, you're saving time, you're earning more money. Makes sense. And I mean, what I'm talking, I mean, I don't want to devalue our offer, but it's about value. At the moment, students around the world are saying, I'm worried about the cost of living. So we've actually, if I haven't shared these with you, David, sorry, I will do after this. We've got some global scholarships, which basically mean if you're an international fee payer, undergraduate or postgraduate, you can get up to £4,000 off your tuition fees, because we acknowledge it's more expensive than it was previously to study. So, and that's automatic if you're an international fee payer. Not only that, the accommodation at London South Bank is £160. It's £158 a week at the moment. It will go up to £160 for next year. But that's all bills included, internet. That's really, really good value. And the university does this not just for international students, but we get British students, domestic students who travel from Scotland or the north of England. And the biggest concern for them and their parents are it's going to be expensive to live in London. But so the university, because we own the land, we don't outsource our accommodation to a private company. It's our accommodation.
Yeah, and that is there to serve the students and to support their studies and their stay while they're in London. So it's not that you're going to make a profit out of that. It's just there to help and support that process of international education.
It's subsidized for all students, regardless of their background. We want to provide affordable studies in London. So another example is but if you're a student at LSB, you can get breakfast for £1. I mean, I don't know what are you? Are you in Cali or Bogota?
In Cali.
I remember. So can you get breakfast for £1 in Cali, which is like a croissant and coffee?
Probably not. Definitely, it's going to be higher than that for sure.
So for lunch, a hot lunch with a bottle of water or a drink, it's £3.50. We're actually cheaper to eat at LSBU than half the cities I visit around the world. So it's the university taking steps to make life and study more affordable in the UK.
And Neil, for those students that need to refine their English levels with a plan of afterwards extending their stay into either a bachelor degree or a master degree, do you think that's still a valid route, considering that there are more restrictions in place for English studies and so forth, and a little bit more benefits for those students is enrolling directly into master degree, especially overnight. We just heard some very positive news out of the UK that those work rights would be continued. They are not going to be changed. So that is extremely positive in a context around the world where many other competing destinations are changing tremendously. And so what are your visions on this, and what are your recommendations for those students? Is still relevant for you to do English and then moving forward, or is it better to do a preparation at home, reduce cost, and then reach an intermediate level and get to destination to get better advantages? What are your views on this?
I mean, you're right. I from the MAC report yesterday, and that's about kind of post-study work visas and things, but we can touch on that later. For English language, we have this year, and I'm from the English language world. I had language schools for many years, so which took me to Columbia. But we've started accepting more English language tests, so not only IELTS, but the Oxford International Test, language cert. And I'm trying to think of others, but we've got a range. If you go to our website, there's a range of English language tests we accept. We've also now partnered with a company called Oxford International. So say we've only just done it. So this year we've got limited options, but say you're a student from Colombia or from Brazil and you're 0.5 off your IELTS and you don't want to take another IELTS, you can go and do an online course with Oxford International. It's about 1,600, and this is an agent audience, isn't it? I'm talking to.
Yeah.
So it's also commissionable by 20%. So the student can do a 6-week pre-sessional to get them up to that 0.5 on IELTS. Then it's an IELTS waiver. So we accept them as long as they pass the Oxford International course, which is done online in country.
Yeah,
they automatically go. So I mean, last year I did this because last year, especially in Latin America, because that was my focus. I had a number of students who were just off the mark with Pearson or with IELTS, and I remember a Brazilian couple, and she was fine, and he was just below, but they wanted to travel together, but we had no mechanism for students to upgrade their English before travel in country, because I understand students don't want to come to the UK at that cost to do a pre-sessional English course, an English course, with that worry that can I progress. So we've done it online. Oxford International, I've worked with them for a number of years. They're a good company. So basically that helps elevate students that might be 0.5 off, because no one has reading, writing, speaking, listening at the exact same level.
No.
It never happens. So that's new this year.
Wonderful. And I think that is really smart, because that is really maximizing the student's budget. And usually we have these cases where, like you said, students are just missing 0.5 in the IELTS, in one of the IELTS bands, or just 2 points on a TOEFL, and then they're so excited on going over there, and then they can't. So it's really frustrating for all of the parties involved. The university know that they will thrive, because that little bit of a difference. It's just it'll take them a couple of weeks or a month or two just to refine them. And so this online option is ideal, and this is something we're really promoting with our agent network, so that students can maximize their budgets. They get prepared at home, and then they travel, and they also get the best benefits and the most out of their investment when they do reach the UK.
I mean, that's it. And I'm sure you'll agree, most students that come to the UK, if they struggle, it's because of language, not because of academic knowledge. So, and the university might draw a kind of arbitrary line. Everyone has to be 6.5, but you have to draw a line somewhere. So it's disappointing with students who are one half a point off or something, but you can't make exceptions all the time. So hence we've got the pre-sessional. So I'm hoping it will help students that just miss that mark.
Wonderful, and Oxford International is just a wonderful partner, and
Yeah.
such good quality, such good reputation, so well established in the market. So our partners will have access to them as well, so that they can work in this package type of offering. And so if a student is interested in doing this, Neil, refining their English, a little bit of band that they need to get to. How would they do this? So they would register with LSBU. You guys would organize the package. Would recommend whatever needs to be recommended. How does it work?
Basically, how I've done it. I mean, obviously, Oxford International are a partner, but we
Mhm.
did it this year because we've got limited time. So, say a student applies, does their IELTS or their TOEFL or whatever, and they're just short, we automatically refer them to Oxford International. But how we've done it, it's like a white label product. So we'll send them a link. You take that link and it says LSBU pre-sessional English.
Mhm.
So, but it's actually Oxford International,
Yeah.
because obviously they're working with numerous universities. So it makes it a cost effective for them, and they join the online classes straight away. They just sign up.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm sure you work with Oxford International, so
Mhm.
their online provision is getting better and better. I know Oxford International basically because I was sales director there for quite a number of years before. So yeah, absolutely believe that they provide quality courses, quality service. So we can either refer the student directly. You need to top up your English. Click on this pre-sessional link, and the student won't know really it's provided by Oxford International unless they read the real small print. And basically, the student does the course. As soon as they finish, it's a mixture. There's obviously some testing, but it's modular. It's attendance. It's a number of assessment criteria. And as
Mhm.
soon as they do that, they come back to us. No exam. So basically, they finish the course. We should get the results 2 days after they finish the course. If if they've passed, basically, then they get an unconditional offer, and that's it. So it should be
Wow.
seamless for the student. That
Yeah.
there shouldn't be any further hoops to jump through.
Okay. Really streamlined, definitely. And
That's the
and
plan.
in terms of programs, Neil, so what are you hearing from the Latinos in terms of program preferences? Any areas, disciplines that you can comment on?
It's a good question and hard to answer because our contingent is still fairly small. But and I I have to be specific. So I'm getting students from Chile every
Hmm.
year, but around construction.
Okay.
Don't know why. Maybe you can answer that, David. But we do construction management, construction project management, and we've got a school called Built Environment and Architecture. Every year or so, I'm getting, and I have no idea where they're coming from. They're direct. So, but
Okay.
there's obviously a market in Chile for that. In Colombia, most of the students are coming through business. Same as Peru. I've got a Mexican student, an undergraduate, doing psychology this year. So it's pretty mixed. The probably business would be if you look back over say 3 years in the Latin American market, business is the biggest school because we've got 7 schools in the university. Business and engineering being the biggest, but engineering not so much for the Latin market, but definitely business. And well, I've got some quite nice case study. When I started, I've only been at the university a year, but I've known the university for a while. And I joined because I really believe that they do a fantastic job at providing. We're not an academic university, so we provide skills for the workplace.
Mhm.
We're a professional university, so if someone wants to learn business skills, go into business. We're in the top 5 for say accounting and finance,
Yeah.
up with LSE. So I have a student from Peru, for example, did her MSc accounting and finance. All our business courses carry internship placements, should a student wish to do. So whatever happens with the post-study work visa, there's a guaranteed internship should the student want to do so. So one Peruvian student, she did accounting and finance. She got a placement with the NHS, which is the medical,
National Health Services. Yep.
exactly. And I said, well, hold on a minute, you studied accounting. And she said, yeah, but of course, obviously, National Health Service has an accounting department. So she did her year's internship, which is a project, so monitored by the university. So the student gets credits for it and is basically putting your skills into practice. She did so well, the NHS have said, we'll employ you for the 2-year post-study work visa. So whatever she does next, being going back to Peru or Europe or the States, she's got a really good CV. So business is probably the top one for Latin America. But like I say, we're a medium-sized university. So we do a range of courses. So, you know, you've got our website, there's engineering, business, architecture, health, law, and creative arts. Yeah.
And I think, you just mentioned something. It's a mid-sized university. And I think that is key for students that are looking for that personalized type of education, where they feel that they are heard, where they feel like they are supported with all of these amazing incentives, the internship program, the placement program, and the preparation of these students to go into the workforce, and that focus on employability and skills that are required to successfully enter the workforce. So I think that is one of the main things, and one that the majority of our Latino students are looking forward or looking for when they are identifying their school of choice in London.
I mean, funny you should say that, but I mean, obviously there's different types of university in the UK. So we're what's called a post-92 university. Although we're 132 years old, we were a polytechnic before, which polytechnic, it was about giving skills.
Yeah.
So now we are in London, and there's lots of post-92 universities, Greenwich, London Met, Westminster, they're all post-92. We have the highest graduate salaries. And okay, this is mainly UK students, but our students are getting the highest salaries, and you can check this out on our website, than Greenwich, than Brunel, well, not Brunel, Kingston, Roehampton. But that obviously means that our degrees carry some weight.
Yeah.
So employability is a big factor for our domestic students when they're choosing a university. So again, I'd say that comes down to that we provide students who are finishing our programs with the skills that employers are looking for. It's embedded in our modules, it's embedded in how we teach, how we assess students. So I think when it comes to employability, we are out in front.
And I think, Neil, that connection between industry needs and the real life and the skills and the preparation that the university is doing, I think that is the key to this ultimate success of the students. You are really giving them a real world type of education with skills that they are going to ultimately need when they do enter the workforce. So the entire career and their entire curriculum is planned and in alignment with industry needs and industry recognition.
David, I joined I've never worked for a university before, but I was so impressed with what's happening. We've got links. So if you're doing applied sciences, we've got links. We've got a big forensic science department. We've got the leading expert on fingerprints. We work with the Metropolitan Police. We work with the fire service. So in the business school, we work with KPMG, Capgemini, all those big consultancies. We've got absolute tight industry links, because that's why our students choose us. And a lot of them, British or international, want that experience that they can get from a placement. It validates what you've been studying.
Yeah.
Imagine whatever you choose to study, then you can go and use it in the workplace. And of course, it's all controlled by the university. So they're actually getting put the skills that they've learned into practice. Make such a difference. And the graduate outcomes for students that have done internships are much higher, and that's international as well. So from our student surveys, so our students that have done an internship wherever they're from go on to get better jobs than students that are other universities. That sounds like a boast, but honestly, it's true. Check us out on the website.
Absolutely, Neil. And so in terms of the profile for the students, what is it that you're looking for? Evidently, the first thing is one that is looking for a real life type of education, one that is giving you the skills. But other than that, what other attributes are you looking for into candidates wanting to apply for London South Bank University?
Good question. I mean, student profiling is quite a difficult business, and you know, we actually get different profiles of students. But I think, you know, a lot of the students I talk to, they've got a certain confidence. They've got a desire to be in the city, to make a difference, and are career focused. And that doesn't matter if they're from Brazil or Bangladesh. You know, I work a lot. Part of my job is I'm quite keen on getting student voices, because yeah, you can listen to me, but you know, I'm in my 50s. I studied a long time ago, and it's my job to say it's great. So I cultivate a lot of the students. Of course, the students that volunteer to be student ambassadors tend to be of a certain profile, but we've got some great students, and I think, and this isn't just for London South Bank, I think becoming an international student and making that decision to study abroad is a huge decision, absolutely huge, and
It's a lifetime changing decision, Neil. Absolutely.
And it's a frightening decision, because I mean, moving continents. So the one thing, obviously, we get students which are brimming with confidence and know what they're doing and where they want to go, but we also get students who are a little bit nervous. But what I've been trying to do, we've got a great student union network of societies. So I've been trying to set up a LATAM student with my student union. It's getting there, but we have pre-departure briefings. You know, so when I say, you know, we want confident, self-sure students, not everyone can be like that, but we've got the mechanisms in place to help students make that decision. Because especially, I think, if you're going to a more rural university, you might think, oh, it's easier.
Yeah.
So London might seem like a bit of a challenge. The thing we do have in London, now, if you're a LATAM student, not far from the university, there's now, don't last time we were in London, David, but by Elephant and Castle, there's a whole Latino community. There's Colombian restaurants, Peruvian, there's even a Bolivian restaurant. I haven't been yet. I have no idea Bolivian cuisine, but I think students want to know, can I get a bit of home there? So we've got the support network. So really, as a student profile, it's someone that wants to focus on careers.
Yeah.
Again, when I do say confidence a lot of times, because our assessment is often group work and it's modular. So it's not you study for a year and then do an exam. It's working together. So it's someone who really wants to develop those skills and has a career goal in mind. That is the perfect LSBU student. But, you know, students come in many shapes and sizes and forms. So I hope with David and my colleagues, we can help advise you and students to make the right decision. Because what we don't want is students that are in the wrong place for their studies. Because if they're not content and happy in the environment they're in, they'll never succeed. So it's a kind of I haven't really answered it. I've dodged around like a politician, but
no, but I think you definitely made really good valid points in there, Neil, because I think That is a reflection, the confidence and the group work that you just explained. It is a reflection of what real employability is like. When you're in a work environment, you need to work in groups. You're part of a team. You're working towards a company goal. And so that what you're bringing into the classroom is again a reflection of what they're going to be expecting when they do get into the place in the workforce. So those are essential skills for anyone to have and aspire to.
But it also, honestly, it helps because these groups are often domestic students, international students. It really helps all of them because the British students are getting international perspectives. And if you walk around our library, which is won lots of awards for its design, there are rooms all around the side which students can book, and they've got whiteboards which you can write on and clean, audio visual equipment, and it's for group work because
Yeah.
often the modules are project based. So you'll get maybe a different set of students, and you've got a problem to solve, whether you're an engineer or a business person or a construction manager,
Yeah.
because that's how it is in the real world.
Absolutely. And also this cross-cultural work and skills development on how to navigate in this globalized world, because, part of that teamwork might be a student from the UK, a domestic student, but also a student from Colombia, another one from Peru, another one from Bangladesh, another one from Nigeria. So bringing all of these cultures together, it's also giving you the opportunity to cross-culture train yourself, because that is, again, the reality of the workforce. We live in such a globalized world. We live in such a multicultural societies, and those are also skills that you're learning by doing.
Even 20 years ago, when I was running language schools, and I'd have students
Mhm.
saying, "But my accent's not British." Look, when you start work, you may be speaking English with a Brazilian, a Colombian, someone from Finland, someone from China. Don't worry about your accent. Worry
Yeah,
about actually being understood and communicating ideas. And it's the same at all levels. And that's what
absolutely.
we encourage. We encourage that kind of study skills, that kind of sorry, I apologize. My dog has just come in from a walk and has just run up
No
to me, so
worries.
I was slightly distracted. But
No
yeah,
worries. No worries, Neil. Well, and just to start wrapping up our session today, any final thoughts or recommendations for international students wanting to apply for LSBU?
I mean, I think LSBU is fairly unique actually in the London offering of post 92 universities. Location, our physical environment, our campus, but also the way we teach, the way we assess, and actually, I should say, my colleagues in the academic department, we've got, you can have the best facilities, you can be right in the heart of London, but without the teaching staff, which are your best assets, followed by the students, or a bit of both, you don't have anything. So I've been doing this for 20 something years now, and I know I'm pledging my kind of professional integrity with LSBU. We have some great staff, and I would say well, it's an agent audience, but agent student, get your students to do the research. And I'm happy if I can, David, if I can help with objection handling. I think students' decision-making process generally is location and type of environment I want to study. Can I afford it? And then they go quite deep into course content, course outcomes, and compare with a number of universities. I believe, if I had more time, I believe we can beat a lot of the competition on those outcomes. And it it's not always easy to kind of compare, say, websites and things, but I'd be happy to delve deeper into what we offer and specific courses. But I do believe LSBU has a real solid proposition for international students. And as far as student satisfaction, we are outstripping the competition at our level. So any more information, again, I'm happy to take questions, you know, through yourself, to provide those answers, because as I said, it is, and I'm sure you know, it's one of the biggest decisions, and the students have to make the right decision. And sometimes I've said, okay, you should go to a different university. It's better for students to go to the competition. But yeah, happy to help in any way further. But
wonderful, Neil. And I think part of what we do here at upGrad GSP is to try and find the very best match between the student's profile, academic background, personal objectives, and their choice for destination and program. Because you know, at the end of the day, this is like finding your partner, your life partner. There are so many things that are key and that are relevant for that decision-making process, that what we do and where we focus on daily basis is to try and focus on that match and on successfully matching that existing profile and what their dreams and aspirations are, and doing so in the most affordable way, and in a way where the student is not forced to make a decision just because, but because it really feels good and because it really connects and it really clicks with what that profile is like. And in a way, I feel like we are democratizers of international education on what we do every day, supporting and bringing down barriers. And I think you and I can sit here an entire afternoon discussing all things related to the international education industry. But we do have to say goodbye now. Neil, it's been great, a wonderful conversation with you today. And I look forward to our next sit down or our next episode.
Thanks very much for the opportunity to speak. And yeah, you know, I can actually talk all afternoon. So thanks for stopping me going off at a tangent. For those listening, thanks very much. I really do appreciate the opportunity. And David, thank you for giving it to us.
Absolutely great to having you here. Thanks, Neil.
See you, David. Bye-bye.